Hello there, boys and some girls. We finally know what the creature stage from Spore would look like if it was its own game. And honestly, it's pretty positive. What is Voidling Bound? Well, it's a game about breeding, evolving and upgrading your own alien creature, then using them to clear linear levels and reach the end game. You shape them exactly however you want to play them. Right now there are 7 different types of creatures, 7 creatures in general. Some of them are ranged, some of them are melee. All of them feel unique. Not necessarily strong, but unique. Personally, I didn't feel like the melee ones were as much fun or as much powerful. They really felt underpowered and way too squishy when you compare them to the ranged creatures. And what ended up happening is I actually mained the floating jellyfish, which I don't know the name for it, and I just stuck with it start to finish. Each creature has 2 main elemental paths of evolution they can take. You can go deeper after that into the same tree to create even a more specific build than just like one element thing. For my jellyfish, it was either electro or poison. I went with electro all the way. It was a ton of fun. There are definitely stronger and weaker builds, but the game isn't very hard on its own. So you don't need to stress too much about what kind of optimization you need to do to be perfect for the levels. Just try things out and just have fun, see what feels good to you. It's that simple. Besides evolving, you can also upgrade some of your base abilities to do more damage, to have faster cooldowns, to have bigger ranges. These kind of like basic passive things you usually get. All of the resources to do those upgrades and to breed and to evolve and whatnot is going to come from the levels themselves. Breeding and leveling are a big part of the game and they can be a little bit confusing at first. I already made a separate video for those. If you want to go watch that, then you can. I'm not going to go too deep here. Just you need to know that the breeding system is not that shallow, but it's also not that deep. You do need to invest some time, but you don't need a PhD. So prepare yourself for that. Now with that being said, I do want to mention the quick cycle of how the breeding works, just so you have an idea how this works, okay? So first of all, number 1, you need to find 2 parents you want and then you breed them. Number 2, you have to do a mission in order to advance the time. Number 3, you actually hatch the egg. And then number 4, you level up the creature and you allocate your points however you want to. And then number 5, you just repeat the whole cycle as many times as you want. There's also something I forgot to mention in my guide for the breeding, which I'm going to mention here. It's splicing. It's kind of the final step. Once your creature is fully evolved and enhanced, you can actually use this splicing machine to take genes from other creatures, no matter what kind of creature, and then you can add them to your own creatures. You can kind of crossbreed the genes, which is pretty cool. This opens up even more build possibilities. The downside to this is that the creature who has been spliced can no longer be bred. There is a late game upgrade that once you reach level 45, you can breed spliced creatures, at least that's what it seems like from the menu. But once you reach level 45, you're pretty much done with the game. I'm level 27. I have done the final, like the end game a bunch of times. I've bred a bunch of creatures. I got like the perfect creature I want for my thing. And I'm done with the game, the story and everything, and I'm only level 27. So why would you wait until level 45? I don't know, maybe for future content, but just so you know. You get resources from 2 types of missions. You get resources from linear story missions, which is basically the main story, and you also get side content, which is kind of survival, like wave-based missions where you go stand in a place and enemies come at you and you kill them. There's a boss at the end. That's pretty much it. Missions start slow, but they get better as you unlock stronger maps that actually give you more rewards and better rewards. I do have to say this though, the missions themselves felt a little bit boring and a little bit simple, the combat also included in those, because there's nothing that's really engaging to you very much. You kill things pretty fast and there is no there's nothing needed to think too much about the combat. Just dodge and hit enemies. That's it. There's nothing beyond like that. Once you finish the story, which is pretty short, you unlock the endgame, which is a roguelite mode. You dive deeper and deeper into the void, you fight stronger enemies. After each level, you can decide if you want to quit and go back to the base, or if you want to go even deeper and keep getting more rewards. I reached, I think, difficulty 20 maybe. I'm not really sure which difficulty. I think 20. There was a big boss. I stopped. Not because it was hard, because I was still melting everything, but it was just boring. It was no longer fun. But I'm not a big fan of roguelites or roguelikes in general. You might like them more, so you might enjoy this mode more. I personally just didn't. As you go deeper or as you get into higher level missions, basically, it turns into more of a bullet hell where you just have to dodge or outheal the damage, whichever one. I started excited for the combat, but then I slowly lost the interest in it. I can't say exactly what was missing, but it felt like I was just like flowing through the combat without making any real decisions or anything like that. For my build, I went with the Chain Lightning Mage on a jellyfish. You hit everything around you in a circle, then the chains jump between the enemies, onto the enemies, then your right mouse button also acts like a node that is another anchor point for the electricity, so it can jump even further and can jump in between those anchors. Basically, it's super fun, it's very enjoyable, and it's very OP. I really recommend you try this build if you want to. The story is here, but it didn't interest me very much, so I skipped most of it. I only read a little bit of it at the start, like maybe the first hour, a little bit more, but then I kind of gave up. Just, it wasn't interesting to me. Seems to be about exploring deserted planets and dealing with like spore-like enemies that come from the void, which then you go to fight the void as like the end game thing. About the technical state of the game, as the game launched, it was pretty terrible. I was freezing and crashing all the freaking time. It was very annoying. But a few days ago, they released an update. It wasn't something big, but they fixed all my problems. I no longer have any freezing or crashing problems, so I can't really say very much about the game on this aspect. Everything is good for me. Voidling Bound is a good game. It takes the best parts of the Spore's creature state, which I mentioned at the start, which is the evolving, the experimenting, and then it gives you a ton of fun ways to play with it. For me, the lab experimentation and building the creatures was actually way more fun than trying to use them inside the missions. I wanted mission to feel more exciting, so I could show off like my cool creations. Unfortunately, I couldn't. There were also some quality of life things that I would love to see, like the ability to skip the gym time. It's a single player game, there's no need to wait like 18 minutes to level up a single creature, especially when you need so many of them in order to get like your perfect creature. So I would love to see those. Now finally, right as I was finishing writing this script, then the developers actually released like a roadmap which basically says they're gonna keep updating the game with more creatures and more things. So I guess we'll see what they have like in store, right? If you like these types of like experimentation, build variety games where you try to create something and you watch your creature grow and change physically, not only skill wise, then I think this one is for you. You might actually enjoy this one. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, thank you. If you didn't, let me know so I can improve. Beside that, keep it safe and I'll see you next one. Bye bye.